aspirants, welcome to Ethical Animal course. This is class 1 of case studies. See, I will be discussing 20 to 25 case studies under the case studies part of this course. It's like all these 20 to 25 case studies would be previous year questions of UPSC, right? So first, let's understand like various types of case studies UPSC is giving. Then we'll discuss each type of case studies, like at least 3 case studies, 4 case studies on each type of case studies. So let's go to the notes. See, this is the notes on case studies. If we see case studies, see every year 6 case studies are asked, and each case study is of 20 marks. So overall 120 marks ka case studies are there in ethics paper. So it plays a very important role in our ethics paper. So if we see, there are total 5 types of case studies, right? 5 types of case studies is there. That first is options based case studies, right? We'll discuss. And second is ethical issues, right? In case study, the first question would be identify the ethical issues involved in the case study, right? Then there is ethical dilemmas. And if we see, ethical issues are different from ethical dilemmas. And many aspirants, what they do the mistake is when question is asked of ethical dilemmas, they write ethical issues also. So we'll discuss what is ethical dilemma and all, how you need to approach with ethical dilemma based case studies. Then there is course of action, right? In this case, they will ask course of action or what steps you will take to address the issue. Then there are other types of case studies, right? Other case studies, all the miscellaneous case studies which are not under this category will fall under this, right? So we'll discuss all kind of case studies. So first, if we see options based case studies, right? Options based. So if we see in 2022, all the case studies are option based, right? We'll discuss कि क्या है options. See, in this also there are different types. So first is options are given in the case, right? In this class we will deal with these case studies, right? Where in the case itself you will be given 3 or 4 options, right? In the question itself they will give you options. Then they will ask you to discuss merits and demerits of each of the option. There they will ask analyze or critically evaluate each of the given options. So options are already given in the case studies. So in this class we will deal with these type of case studies. Then there is identify the options available. That is, unlike this where options are given, इसमें options are not given. You need to find out your own options. You need to think and write your own options available in this case, and then you need to write merits and demerits of each option, or analyze or critically evaluate each option, or which option will you adopt and why. Identify the best suitable option, stating reasons. Identify the best suitable option, stating reasons. So this is the second type, option based case studies. Then there is second type of case studies, that is ethical issues involved, right? Ethical issues involved. If we see in 2020 and in 2023, in every case, in ethical issues involved are asked in all the case studies. So in every case study, they have asked identify the ethical issues involved in the case, right? So this makes it very important. We need to able to identify as many ethical issues as possible. And what happens is, see, in most of the case studies, students, they ethical issues में they only deal with negative ethical issues, right? Or a negative ethical issues is violation of ethical values. ठीक है, ये values violate हुआ वो identify करता है. But what many aspirants they don't know is positive ethical values also. See, ethical issues involved. See, ethical issues is value neutral term. That is, it can be positive ethical issues or negative ethical issues. That is absence of ethics or presence of ethics also. So we will deal with negative ethical issues and positive ethical values. So presence of ethical values, उस पे भी देखेंगे. Then think through stakeholders so that you won't miss any ethical issues, right? So अब एथिकल इश्यूज सोचना है वो कैसे, वो स्टेक होल्डर्स से थ्रू सोचना है, वो भी विल डिस्कस while discussing these cases, we'll discuss. Then third type of case studies are ethical dilemmas involved, right? In question itself you will be asked identify the ethical dilemmas involved in the case. Again, ethical issues is different from ethical dilemmas. वो क्या है, ये particular type of case studies जब डिस्कस करेंगे तब देखेंगे. Then in 2022 ethical dilemmas involved are asked in all case studies. So in 2022 in every case study they have asked ethical dilemmas involved. अगर 2020 and 23 में if they asked ethical issues involved, in 2022 they have asked ethical dilemmas involved, right? So see, then we will discuss, we need to write ethical dilemma क्या है. So ethical dilemma we have already discussed in the section A part, is a situation which demands a choice between two competing principles where satisfying one would lead to compromise of the other, right? We'll discuss, right? जब cases discuss करेंगे. Then there is course of action based case studies. So course of action में you need to discuss step by step actions, right? You need to discuss step by step actions or first step to last step, first step to last step. Then there is other case studies. There are various types of case studies which doesn't fall under this category. We will also discuss many case studies under this category, right? So these are various types of case studies. So now having discussed various types of case studies, now let's discuss with options given in case, this first type of case studies, right? So in this class we will be discussing 3 case studies and I will be discussing 2 more case studies and will be giving you as homework, right? So first let's discuss the first case. See, here I will be teaching you how you need to study the case, right? Case कैसे पढ़ना है, कैसे वो करना है, सब everything we will be discussing. See, this is question asked in 2015, right? Question asked in 2015, right? 2015. So now see, for any case study, before reading the case, just first go through the questions asked, right? जो भी questions पूछता है वो पूछना है. See, here these are the questions asked. List the likely vested interest of parties concerned, right? Briefly you need to go through, right? क्योंकि जब एक बार ये questions पढ़ लिया, then you can read the question through the lens of these questions, right? So then some of the options for action available to you are listed below. Options है listed below. Discuss the merits and demerits of each of the options. Merits and demerits of each of the options. So first is you can await the visit of the superior officer and let him take a decision. You can seek, see, options are given and merits and demerits you need to discuss, right? So this much you can know. Then can you suggest any other option with proper justification? So from this we know कि भाई कुछ options दिया हुआ है, ठीक है, we need to discuss merits and demerits of each of the options, likely vested interest of parties concerned, right? So एक बार briefly questions देख लिया, ठीक है, then let's read the case study, right? Then let's read the case study, ठीक है. अब case study, you are heading a district administration in a particular department. So you are heading a district administration in particular department. See, again, while reading case studies, identify the stakeholders. ठीक है, stakeholders are जो भी parties involved है तो उनको एक बार ऐसा मार्क कर सकते हैं, right? I will tell you why it would be helpful for you, right? Then your senior officer calls you from the state headquarters and tell you that a plot in Rampur village is to have a building constructed on it for a school. So your senior officer calls you from the state headquarters and tells you that a plot in Rampur village is to have a building constructed on it for a school. A visit is scheduled during which he will visit the site along with the chief engineer. So he is again senior officer, will visit the site along with chief engineer and the senior architect. So we are just highlighting the stakeholders, right? He wants you to check out all the papers relating to it and to ensure that the visit is properly arranged. You examine the file which relates to the period before you joined the department, right? Then the land was acquired from the local panchayat at a nominal cost and the papers show that clearance certificates are available from two of the three authorities. See again, certificate is obtained from two of the three authorities who have to certify the site suitability. See here, ठीक है, सिर्फ दो ही साइन किया तीन में से, एक साइन नहीं किया, देन देयर इज नो सर्टिफिकेशन बाय द आर्किटेक्ट अवेलेबल ऑन फाइल. ठीक है, जो आर्किटेक्ट है वो साइन नहीं किया. देन you decide to visit Rampur to ensure that all is in order as stated on file. When you visit Rampur, you find that the plot under reference is part of Thakurgarh Fort and the walls, rampets etc. running across it. जो भी स्कूल के लिए प्लॉट एलोकेट किया वो एक फोर्ट है, पुराना फोर्ट उस एरिया में. देन फोर्ट इज ए The fort is well away from the main village. Therefore, a school here will be a serious inconvenience for the children. Right? That fort is away from main village. Therefore, a school here will be a serious inconvenience for the children. However, the area near the village has potential to expand into a larger residential area. Potential to expand into a larger residential area. The development charges on the existing plot at the fort will be very high and the question of heritageable site has not been addressed. Moreover, the Sarpanch at the time of acquisition of the land was a relative of your predecessor. Right? The whole transaction appears to have been done with some vested interest. Right? The whole transaction is seemed to be done with some vested interest. Right? Then the questions are given. List the likely vested interest of parties concerned. Like likely vested interests of parties concerned. Okay. Then some of the options for action available to you are listed below. Discuss the merits and demerits of each of the options. Right? Merits and demerits of each of the options. Can you suggest any other option with proper justification? Right? See, now we have read the case. Now first is introduction. Right? See, again, with respect to introduction, what I want to say is, see, introduction, maximum 3 to 4 lines और से अगर ज्यादा हो गया तो 5 lines. ठीक है, इससे ज्यादा इंट्रोडक्शन होना ही नहीं चाहिए केस स्टडी में. राइट? एट मैक्स 5 lines. राइट? एंड इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या होना चाहिए? द कोर इश्यू ऑफ केस, कोर इश्यू ऑफ केस, और जो सिलेबस में जो भी कीवर्ड्स है, जैसे एनवायरमेंट एथिक्स वायलेट हो रहा है, जैसे कॉर्पोरेट एथिक्स का केस स्टडी है, कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस का, लाइक वर्क कल्चर का केस स्टडी है, राइट, करप्शन का केस स्टडी है. सो सिलेबस में कीवर्ड्स जो है, जो एथिकल इश्यूज है वो वायलेट हो रहा है, तो दिस केस स्टडी is regarding to corruption in public service. Right? This case study is a typical case study where environment ethics is in conflict with economic development. Right? So like that, you need to discuss the core issue of the case or core lapses in ethical values of the case. Right? So in 3-4 lines, you need to discuss that. Right? Core issue of the case and keywords. Right? Syllabus ka keywords. Right? That will be the intro. Right? So, and one more thing you need to keep in mind is, don't write stakeholders. Okay, stakeholders, ethical issues involved, write only when it is explicitly asked in the question. जो भी questions में explicitly पूछा नहीं है, you need not write that. Right? Time waste क्यों करना है? So, just stick with what is asked in the question. Right? So here in this case study, intro is, this case involves discovery of irregularities. Right? See, this case involves discovery of irregularities in the acquisition of a plot for a school. Right? Discovery of irregularities in the acquisition of a plot for a school which is part of a heritage site. Which is part of a heritage fort. Discovery of irregularities in the acquisition of a plot for school which is part of a heritage fort. Right? This is the introduction. Then directly come to what is asked in the question. So questions asked here are, list the likely vested interests of parties concerned. List the likely vested interests of the parties concerned. So list the likely vested interests of the parties concerned. Likely vested interests of the parties concerned. Right? So likely vested interests of the parties concerned. Okay. That is, see, likely vested interest of the parties concerned. So parties involved are what? Nothing but stakeholders, right? So here we will write each and every stakeholder, ठीक है? Stakeholder and उसका vested interest क्या हो सकता है? ठीक है? That we need to spell out as per the demands of, so likely vested interests of the parties involved. So now let's check. Okay, likely vested interests of parties involved. ठीक है? So first person with vested interests is say previous government authorities, right? जैसे previous government authorities and village authorities, ठीक है? Grabbing the heritage land illegally, right? So previous government authorities is, see, one is your predecessor. See, predecessor, I haven't explicitly mentioned in the notes, so you can write down here in the notes. See, this notes you can download it from the website, right? So for अगर download किया तो no need to write, right? अगर download नहीं किया तो you need to write all the answers so that you can revise them on regular basis. ठीक है? So better download the notes from the website. So previous government authorities is your predecessor and उसका vested interest क्या है? See, predecessor का vested interest is helping his relative, that is sarpanch. सरपंच in this case, ठीक है? क्योंकि सरपंच का क्या है? सरपंच मान ले विलेज के बीच में स्कूल आता तो उधर हाउसिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स डेवलप नहीं होता. सो सरपंच इज समवेयर वांटिंग दैट स्कूल इज आउटसाइड. जब विलेज में जो रेसिडेंशियल कॉम्प्लेक्स है उधर नहीं होना चाहिए. ठीक है? सरपंच को हेल्प कर सकता है या उसका वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट इज बाय करप्शन. ठीक है? करप्शन इज also corruption also involves helping the relative, that is using your public office for private gain. Private gain is helping the relative is this private gain here. So this is predecessor and uska vested interest. Then previous other government authorities and village authorities. Village authorities include sarpanch. ठीक है? सरपंच and उसका vested interest is what? सरपंच का vested interest is ensuring possible vested interest, parties involved, possible vested interest, ensuring that school residence complex is within village and school is in fort, because it's near the fort area, right? उस प्लॉट में है. क्योंकि वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट हो सकते हैं, या तो लोग ज्यादा चाह रहे हैं तो सरपंच भी उन्हीं के साथ जा रहा है. ठीक है? पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जा रही है तो सरपंच भी उन्हीं के साथ जा रहा है. ठीक है? सो दीज आर vested interest. Then the two certifying authorities is grabbing the heritage land illegally. So they are somewhere grabbing the heritage land illegally. Then these are the vested interest. Then next is the two certifying authorities. Two certifying authorities certifying the suitability of the plot for some monetary or in-kind gains. The two certifying authorities certifying the suitability of the plot for some monetary or in-kind gain. Right? Certifying the suitability of the दो लोग है, तीन लोग है पूरा, बट दो लोग ने सर्टिफाई किया, एक ने सर्टिफाई नहीं किया. राइट? Certifying the suitability of the plot for some monetary or in-kind gains, right? That is their vested interest. Then vested interest of sarpanch comma village authorities already discuss किया. ठीक है? In keeping the area near the village for residential purpose instead of using it for school, they might be considering the monetary gains which can be made by them, sarpanch and village authorities, right? Then predecessor we have already discussed, that is predecessor providing undue advantage to sarpanch by misusing his authority, right? That is the thing. Then Next, vested interests or vested interests of parties involved, that can be people of village. ठीक है, people of village, they are also part of the problem. ठीक है, people of interest, their possible vested interest can be of priority to housing over school, right? They want जो घर है वो दूर ना रहे, ठीक है, दे वो ऐसे ही सोचेंगे ना, स्कूल है बच्चे जाएंगे, ठीक है, बट घर है विलेज आउटस्कट्स में नहीं होना चाहिए, विलेज के अंदर होना चाहिए. So here people of the village are also stakeholders, and they may have interest that the homes or residential complex is within the village. So they are giving priority to residence complex over school. So that's why they are not raising any voice, right? You can give the argument. That's why they haven't raised any voice. अब finally पता कब चला, जब एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया तभी पता चला ना. So these are the vested interests, likely vested interests of parties involved. So these all are thing, right? Then there is next question, that is some of the options for action available to you are listed below. Discuss merits and demerits. So options are given. So you need to write merits and demerits of each of the options given. So first option is you can evade the visit of superior officer and let him take a decision. Okay. So first option given to you is evade the visit of superior officer and let him take a decision. अब इस option का merit क्या है? Merit is it will help in maintaining the line of hierarchy in decision making process. So see, decision making में there is always a hierarchy. We have studied it in section A, that is maintaining hierarchy is also very important. जैसे Weberian model of democracy, it focuses on hierarchy in decision making. So अगर superior order के visit का wait करके उनको decision लेने में दिया, तो it will be maintaining the line of hierarchy in decision making process, that is merit. Then seniors will take a holistic view of the whole issue considering the best available evidence. So senior से उनके पास नॉलेज होगा, ज्यादा बेटर डिसीजन मेकिंग स्किल्स होंगे, कैसे इन इश्यूज को रिजॉल्व करना है, तो दे विल टेक होलिस्टिक व्यू ऑफ द होल इश्यू कंसिडरिंग बेस्ट अवेलेबल एविडेंस. ठीक है, दिस इज मेरिट्स. देन demerits is it will delay the solution to the problem. It will delay the solution. ठीक है, solution को delay करेंगे, right? So you need to wait till the visit of superior officer, right? अब this is delay in decision making, right? Then it is transferring my duty to my seniors. By here you have the responsibility, you have power to take decisions, but you are not taking decisions. So that means you are not in a position to take decision making, right? So you are indecisive. Your indecisiveness is showing, and you are transferring your responsibility to seniors, right? This is again demerit. Then shows lack of intellectual autonomy, because you are not able to take decisions for yourself or for the administration, for the betterment of people. So that shows lack of intellectual autonomy, that is ability to make decisions. See, again, you need to use these kind of terms in your case studies, right? So these are the merits and the demerits of the case study, like this option, right? Visit officer and let him take the decision. These are merits and demerits. Then second option is seeking advice of superior in writing or on phone. ठीक है, अब उनका वेट करना है, अब वेट करने से टाइम हो रहा है, डिले हो रहा है. ठीक है, अब ये है कि सीक एडवाइस इन राइटिंग और ऑन फोन. ठीक है, बात करके एडवाइस ऑन फोन में पूछ लो या राइटिंग में पूछ लो. देन उसका मेरिट्स क्या है इस ऑप्शन का? प्रोवाइड्स गाइडेंस फ्रॉम हायर अथॉरिटीज आर सीनियर. ठीक है, फोन करके पूछोगे तो गाइडेंस मिलेगा, क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. देन हेल्प्स इन अलाइनिंग actions with the decisions and the directions of superior officers, right? You will make your decisions on the basis of superior officers. Okay, then next, another merit which is not mentioned here, but you can write, or you can also write in your notes, is seeking advice in writing. Seeking advice in writing means superior superior is responsible. Superior is responsible for actions, right? So superior is responsible for actions. Seeking advice in writing. Seeking advice in writing, that means superior is responsible for actions, right? Superior is responsible for actions. Then option D is it may help in solving the issue before seniors visit the site, right? Before seniors visit the site, right? So you are seeking advice in writing or on phone. अगर writing में लिया seeking advice in writing, superior is responsible for the action, right? जो they gave in writing, so when the issue arises, decision making किसने लिया, अगर कुछ गलत भी हुआ तो senior responsible held होगा. Then demerits of this option is seeking advice will again be like shifting responsibility on seniors. See, अगर एडवाइस पूछ रहा है इन राइटिंग भी तो दैट इज शिफ्टिंग योर रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ डिसीजन मेकिंग टू सीनियर्स. देन गेटिंग रिटर्न ऑर्डर्स विल डिले द प्रोसेस ऑफ सॉल्विंग द इश्यू. ठीक है, अब भाई राइटिंग रिटर्न ऑर्डर्स भी देना है, ठीक है, टाइप भी कराना है, ठीक है, फिर रिलीज भी करना है. सो इट विल टेक टाइम एंड इट विल बी अ डिले इन डिसीजन मेकिंग, राइट? देन द थर्ड ऑप्शन इज कंसल्टिंग माय प्रेडिसेसर और colleagues etc and then deciding what to do. ठीक है, consulting my predecessor or colleagues etc and then deciding what to do. See, your predecessor is सरपंच का रिलेटिव है, ठीक है, and he is also part of the problem, so you are consulting him. ठीक है, what made him take that decision, and you will consult your colleagues also, then deciding what to do, right? So अब उसका मेरिट क्या है? That is you can know about the exact reasons behind the decisions of predecessor, because predecessor will explain you. Then can get better insights into the issue, promote democratic decision making. So you are involving colleagues, right? You will get better insights, right? Then it helps in democratic decision making. You are involving colleagues also in decision making. That option C, which is not mentioned here, that merit is improve work culture of organization. Improve work culture of organization. ठीक है, because as it involves participative decision making, right? It involves participative decision making. So improve work culture of organization. So consulting my predecessor colleagues and then deciding what to do, so that will improve the work culture, because see, you are involving colleagues in decision making, right? Then demerits is it may not help in solving the problem. Because of the vested interest of the predecessor, right? अब vested interest से predecessor का वो सच क्यों बोलेगा, right? So it will not solve the problem. Then conflict of interest for the predecessor, as one cannot be judged in one's own case. ठीक है, अब इधर भाई जो irregularities हो रहा है आप उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहे हैं, तो इधर उसी को इन्वॉल्व किया, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है. इट विल डिले द डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस, राइट? सो इट विल डिले द डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस, राइट? दैट इज अगेन demerit. Then the fourth option is finding out any alternative plot which can be got in exchange and then send a comprehensive written report, right? So finding out any alternative plot can be got in exchange and then send a comprehensive written report, the merits are, okay, it will help solve the problem as the school cannot be constructed at its present location, right? So present location में construct नहीं करता, so it will help solve the problem as the school cannot be constructed at its present location. So alternate find किया तो उसमें वो, sorry, then alternate plot can also address issues of inconvenience to children, comma, potential high development charges, etc. Right? ठीक है, ऑल्टरनेट प्लॉट देखा तो उस पे चिल्ड्रन का कन्वीनियंस भाई जो दूर नहीं जाना पड़ेगा एंड पोटेंशियल हाई डेवलपमेंट चार्जेस, डेवलपमेंट चार्जेस है, ठीक है, वो भी कम करेगा. देन sending a detailed report will help in appraising seniors on every aspect of the issue, right? You can discuss it with seniors, let them know what is happening, right? Then demerit of this is finding and acquiring an alternate plot may be challenging and time consuming, right? So that is the demerit of this. So now see questions, 4 options given, we have discussed merits and demerits, right? We have discussed merits and demerits. Then can you suggest any other option? Can you suggest any other option with proper justification? Okay, कोई और option है with proper justification, so that we will discuss now. Any other option with proper justification, that is, see here, any other option with proper justification, you can write a big option, right, which is comprehensive in nature, right? Comprehensive includes all the aspects. So that is conduct an independent investigation. Okay. First, any other option with proper justification. First is conduct an independent investigation. Conduct an independent investigation. Then bring out all the irregularities. Then send a report to higher authorities. Then punish those involved in the irregularities using legal route. At the same time, find the alternate plot near the residential area for school so that children can easily communicate. At the same time, find the alternate plot near the residential area for school so that children can easily communicate. Right? Then independent investigation will bring out all the facts of the case. Right? Why? See, proper justification भी पूछा, right? So this is justification. Independent investigation will bring out all the facts of the case. Culprits needs to be punished. By culprits को punish those culprits because culprits needs to be punished so that irregularities doesn't repeat. Okay, as an administration, our goal is to find solutions to the problems. Thus, providing alternate plot near the residential area would be helpful. Right? Residential area would be helpful. So this is option and its justification. Right? अगर चाहिए तो you can write more points in justification, right? You should be able to act, right? So fighting corruption is your duty, right? And proper utilization of resources, that is school nearby is proper utilization of resources, that is also necessary, right? So like this you can explain more. Here I try to be as brief as possible, right? So this is the case. Right, you need to write merits and demerits, right, and try to use effective language in your case studies, right? So and avoid all the unnecessary things. See, I see aspirants, they write introduction in say 10 lines, और introduction में क्या करेंगे, केस का summary बताएंगे, ठीक है, केस में ये हुआ 5 6 7 8 lines, ठीक है भाई, जरूरी नहीं है, just 2-3 lines basic introduction, then directly come to the questions, because जो questions जितना अच्छा लिखा है उतने में marks derive होगा, जो पूछा है उस पे you will be allocated marks, not on what you have written. ठीक है, अब इधर stakeholders पूछा नहीं है, right? So there is no need to put heading like जैसे I see aspirants stakeholders ऐसा heading लगा के 6-7 जितने भी stakeholders है वो लिखेंगे, भाई क्यों? अगर 1 मिनट भी वेस्ट हो रहा है तो 1 मिनट भी कम करो इस पे, right? Just write what is asked in the question. ठीक है, मेरिट्स डिमेरिट्स पूछा, मेरिट्स डिमेरिट्स लिखो, ठीक है, अदर ऑप्शन अवेलेबल पूछा, एक इनोवेटिव ऑप्शन दो, या तो सबको कंबाइन करके अच्छा ऑप्शन बनाओ, देन जस्टिफिकेशन अच्छे से प्रोवाइड करो, राइट? जस्ट स्टिक टू व्हाट इज आस्क्ड इन द क्वेश्चन. देन लेट्स सी द नेक्स्ट केस स्टडी. राइट, सी this is case study asked in 2017, right? Asked in 2017, again very good case study, right? See, here it is asked, you are an honest and responsible civil servant, you often observe following, right? You are an honest and responsible civil servant, you often observe the following, right? The following are: A, there is a general perception that adhering to ethical conduct, one may face difficulties to oneself. ठीक है, there is general perception that adhering to the ethical conduct one may face difficulties to oneself and cause problems for the family, whereas unfair practices may help to reach the career goals. ठीक है, whereas unfair practices may help to reach the career goals, right? career goals. ठीक है, so ये कि भाई जनरल परसेप्शन है. अब इसका देखो हमें क्या लिखना है, एग्जामिन द अबव स्टेटमेंट्स विद देयर मेरिट्स एंड डीमेरिट्स, राइट? ये चार स्टेटमेंट्स दिया, उन चारों का मेरिट्स एंड डीमेरिट्स करना है. अब देखते हैं, सी फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट को वी आर एड्रेसिंग, राइट? देयर इज अ जनरल परसेप्शन दैट एडहेरिंग टू एथिकल कंडक्ट one may face difficulties to oneself and cause problems to family, whereas unfair practices may help to reach the career goals, right? उसका merits in this statement and demerits in this statement, ये लिखना है. ठीक है, so now see, अब देखो merits and demerits क्वेश्चन है. what many aspirants they do is, ठीक है, सारे क्वेश्चंस में merits demerits बॉक्सेस बनाएंगे, एक ऐसा लिख देंगे, बट दैट इज नॉट द राइट वे. अब मान ले 6 क्वेश्चंस पूछा है मेरिट्स एंड डीमेरिट्स का, यू कैन राइट 3 क्वेश्चंस इन बॉक्स फॉर्म एंड अदर 3 क्वेश्चंस इन पैराग्राफ सेंटेंस फॉर्म. यू कैन गिव आर्ग्यूमेंट्स, राइट? अब फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन दैट इज द एप्ट अप्रोच, राइट? देयर हैज टू बी सम डिस्कशन टाइप ऑफ ए थिंग. डोंट फॉलो जस्ट मैकेनिकल अप्रोच. आई एम नॉट सेइंग मेरिट्स डीमेरिट्स ऐसा लिखो, बट मान ले in 2022 all the 6 case studies are in merits and demerits form. ठीक है, अब 6 के 6 ऐसा बॉक्स बना के लिखोगे तो कितना मैकेनिकल हो जाएगा, एंड योर पॉइंट्स आल्सो सीम टू बी वेरी जनरल, राइट? अब उसको थोड़ा और इनोवेटिव करने के लिए और कुछ क्वेश्चंस में वी कैन यूज आर्ग्यूमेंटेटिव लाइफ ऑफ ए लैंग्वेज. वी कैन डिस्कस मेरिट्स और डीमेरिट्स ही डिस्कस करेंगे, बट द नेचर ऑफ एक्सप्लेनिंग थिंग्स विल चेंज, राइट? अब वो कैसे इस क्वेश्चन में देखते हैं, राइट? सो इन दिस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस वी कैन इजीली फॉलो द पैराग्राफ अप्रोच, राइट? लेट्स सी क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट. ठीक है, देयर इज जनरल परसेप्शन दैट एडहेरिंग टू एथिकल कंडक्ट वन मे फेस डिफिकल्टीज टू वनसेल्फ एंड कॉज प्रॉब्लम्स टू फैमिली. भाई ये भी सही बात है. अब वो सही है कैसे? भाई मेरिट्स इन द स्टेटमेंट वी आर डिस्कसिंग. सी मेरिट्स इज, सी फर्स्ट इंट्रोडक्शन, देखो इंट्रोडक्शन 2 लाइन में. ठीक है, these kind of questions are faced by civil servants on regular basis from others and also from one's own inner voice, right? दूसरे लोगों से भी सुनेंगे और खुद का इनर वॉइस से भी सुनेंगे. ठीक है, so first we are discussing by adhering to ethical conduct, one may face difficulties to oneself, and cause problems for the family. One may face difficulties to oneself and cause problems for the family. ठीक है, one may face difficulties to oneself and cause problems for the family. कैसे? due to loss of opportunity to make money. ठीक है, difficulties, opportunity, loss of opportunity. See, by adhering to ethical conduct you won't be taking bribes, that is opportunity to make money will be lost, right? Then professional advancement, भाई तुम ethics को ही follow करोगे. on the other hand कोई है politician को favorable चीजें करेगा, so उसका career advancement होगा, professional advancement. Then possible strained relations with others. ठीक है, so adhering to ethical conduct you will strain your relations with your others, like family member का कोई काम ही नहीं कर रहे हो आप ethics के चक्कर में, so you will strain. So one thing is you need to explain. ठीक है भाई, ये जो बोल रहे हैं इसमें ये होता है, problems with family, whereas unfair practices may help you reach career goals. ठीक है, for officers like Satyendra Dubey, S. Manjunath had given away their life by adhering to ethical conduct. So this is the point, right? See again, one important thing is use examples in case studies. ठीक है, so this is a very important point. हम लोग क्या क्वेश्चंस में एग्जांपल्स यूज करते हैं, राइट? बट केस स्टडीज में भी एग्जाम्पल्स यूज कर सकते हैं. सो दैट विल मेक आवर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स बेटर. सी हियर, सी सत्येंद्र दुबे, it caused problems to oneself, he lost his life, and problems to family, भाई खुद का मौत हुआ तो फैमिली को भी लॉस है, right? On the other hand, see, we are explaining this part. Whereas unfair practices may help to reach the career goals. ठीक है? On the other hand, unfair practices may help reach career goals like desired posts. ठीक है? Unfair practices, you help a politician, you can get a desired post. Politician post आपको जो चाहिए वो देगा. Then help in promotions. You pay unfair practices. Corruption से पैसा कमाओ and promotion के लिए पैसा खिलाओ. Promotion मिल जाएगा. Then proximity to politicians. ठीक है? Then post retirement jobs. like judges, गवर्नर बन रहा है, अनफेयर प्रैक्टिसेस यूज कर रहा है, रूलिंग पार्टी के फेवर में जजमेंट दे रहा है, राइट? सो अनफेयर प्रैक्टिसेस, यू कैन रीच योर करियर गोल्स, यू कैन गेट डिजायर्ड पोस्ट, प्रमोशंस, प्रॉक्सिमिटी टू पॉलिटिशियंस एंड पोस्ट रिटायरमेंट जॉब्स एक्सेट्रा. ठीक है? दीज आर मेरिट्स. सी दीज आर नथिंग बट व्हाट, ये मेरिट्स है, मेरिट्स इन द आर्गुमेंट. भाई जो तुम बता रहे हो उसमें मेरिट्स है क्योंकि ये चीजें हैं. ठीक है? However, now we are writing demerits, right? Demerits. However, adhering to ethical principles has huge advantages like a person with integrity, ठीक है भाई, ethical principles follow करने में advantages भी है. That is, a person with integrity commands respect and develops trust in personal, social and professional spheres. ठीक है? A person with integrity commands respect and develops trust in personal, social and professional spheres. He or she is honored with more responsibility and leadership opportunity. Right? So ये नहीं कि ethical conduct follow करने से आपको हमेशा आपको आपके फैमिली को नुकसान होता है. ठीक है? Sometimes, most of the times, following, you will be honored with more responsibility and you will be honored with more leadership opportunity. Example, Gandhiji, due to his integrity, was recognized as leader by Congress Working Committee. Again, there are many civil servants, because of their integrity, they are given highest positions. Right? Example, former election commissioner. Right? Then the second question. See, second point is, see, following ethical conduct develops goodwill for self and family. ठीक है? फैमिली को नुकसान भी नहीं है भाई, फायदा भी है. गुडविल फॉर सेल्फ एंड फैमिली. भाई no child wants to tell that his or her father is corrupt, right? They feel proud when his or her father or mother, by that matter, they work in an ethical manner. Right? So it helps in role modeling and persuasion. ठीक है? आपको खुद बहुत हेल्प करेगी. Then there is no fear and anxiety in mind. When you work on the lines of ethics, on the lines of rules, there is nothing to fear. So there is no fear and no anxiety in mind. So then in case of arrest for unethical acts, there is huge embarrassment and a loss of dignity for self and family. Loss of dignity for self and फैमिली. राइट? सो अगर अरेस्ट हुआ तो वो फैमिली का नुकसान है, अगर अनएथिकल एक्ट्स किया तो वो भी तो है. देन honesty is morally uplifting. It boosts dignity and self-respect. Right? ठीक है? So there are demerits in this statement also. So it is better we remain ethical to our job. We remain practicing ethical practices, right? Then the second point, that is B, when the number of people adopting unfair means is large, a small minority having a penchant towards ethical means make no difference. Right? ये बोल रहा है कि भाई बहुत ज्यादा लोग हैं वो अनफेयर मीन्स ही दे रहा है. कुछ लोग, हम जैसे कुछ लोग हॉनेस्ट रह के कुछ ज्यादा बिगड़ नहीं पाएंगे. ठीक है? अब उसका मेरिट्स क्या है उस आर्ग्यूमेंट्स का? ठीक है, लेट्स चेक. ठीक है? व्हेन मोस्ट पीपल आर अडॉप्टिंग अनफेयर मींस, ए स्मॉल माइनॉरिटी हु फॉलो एथिकल मींस कैन मेक लिटिल डिफरेंस बिकॉज दे आर डिस्करेज्ड, बिकॉज दे आर साइडलाइंड, because in fact they are punished by the system. They are discouraged, they are sidelined, and in fact they are punished by the system for being honest. We have seen cases of Ashok Kemka, right? However, ठीक है, these are merits, ठीक है, demerits of the statement is, however, it is unwise to say small minority of honest people cannot bring desired change. It often takes just 1% to start a revolution, right? We have seen examples of Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, etc. अगर मान ले आपको ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कंटेक्स्ट के ही लिखना है तो you can use administrators, right? They have shown us what one honest individual can do. In this context, Rabindranath Tagore suggested for Ekla Chalore, walk alone when there is need to uphold integrity. Again, very important point. ठीक है, जब ये बोलते हैं कि भाई स्मॉल माइनॉरिटी कुछ नहीं बदल सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है. देखो, लुक एट व्हाट गांधी हैज डन, व्हाट नेल्सन मंडेला हैज डन. ठीक है, इट टेक्स 1% टू स्टार्ट ए रिवॉल्यूशन, right? So you can remain honest and you can make a big change. ठीक है, so in this context Rabindranath Tagore says भाई तुम्हें कोई मतलब नहीं है, अगर दुनिया सब गलत कर रही है तो if you want to do right, do it right alone, right? Ekla Chaloro, if it takes to walk alone, right? Then a small minority having penchant towards ethical means do make a difference. Ethical means do make a difference. Look what TN Session has done to conduct free and fair elections. भाई अब बोल रहे हैं कि small minority कुछ नहीं कर सकता, but look what TN Session has done. Then a small minority, if organized, can effectively use persuasion and social influence to change the attitude of others, right? See, example, Chipko movement, small minority, right? How they have brought in environment ethics at the forefront, right? So they can effectively use, again use the terms given in the syllabus in your case studies also. How small minority, they can use persuasion and social influence to change the attitude of others, right? Then as per Greek saying, there is, let the evil come in this world, let it even dominate this world, but not through me. Let the evil come in this world and let it even dominate this world, but not through me. So दुनिया भाई evil आने दो, दुनिया को पूरा dominate करने दो, but I won't do evil, right? The whole is the sum of parts. For the ethical functioning of the whole, each part, that is individuals, must function ethically. A small minority is good enough to start with. Bureaucrats and politicians committed to constitution and service to people can single-handedly create changes in the system, right? ठीक है, then comes the third question with its merits and demerits. That is, sticking to ethical means is detrimental to larger developmental goals, right? See, अब ये by sticking to ethical means is detrimental to larger development goals. भाई इसमें merits क्या है, demerits क्या है? ठीक है, so let's see. ठीक है, see, developmental activities may seem to get hampered by sticking to ethical means, right? By sticking to ethical means, development means कई बार हो सकता है, because sometimes following all the ethical means, processes might lead to delay in decision making, then might lead to policy paralysis, thus acting as detrimental to the larger developmental goals, right? Delay in decision making and policy paralysis, ठीक है, ethical activity follow करने में, ठीक है. Example, environment impact assessment for dam construction in tribal areas. By environment impact assessment करना जरूरी है. It is ethical because we must know the opinion of tribal people also. People over there, we need to get the assignment or assessment from Gram Sabha, which is ethical. Act भी वही बोलती है, right? However, it will take time. Environment impact assessment for dam construction, they take time, which is detrimental to developmental activities. However, ठीक है, अब ये मेरिट है भाई, ये कि हाँ होता है. However, it is also true that no real long-term sustainable development can take place without ethical conduct. ठीक है, अब हो सकता है कि environment impact assessment करने में टाइम लगे. However, मान ले वो नहीं किया, एनवायरमेंट इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट नहीं किया, डैम शुरू कर दिया, अब लोग प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे उस डैम के अगेंस्ट, फिर डैम रोकना पड़ेगा। लुक एट व्हाट हैपेंड इन सरदार सरोवर डैम, राइट? पहले एनवायरमेंट इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट किया नहीं है, फिर लोग प्रोटेस्ट किया, प्रोटेस्ट के चक्कर में अब डेवलपमेंट एक्टिविटीज है वो और डिले हो गया। सो इसीलिए people's no long term sustainable development can take place without ethical conduct. So good governance and ethical governance are must to achieve developmental goals of a nation. In fact, absence of ethical means are detrimental to larger developmental goals. So यही है कि भाई अगर ethics follow नहीं किया तो it is detrimental to development in the long term process. ठीक है, अगर ethics follow नहीं किया, डैम से या रोड से वो कोलैप्स हो जाएंगे, right? So ethics has to be followed, right? Even if it takes time. Then आता है fourth, that is the question is, while one may not involve oneself in large unethical practices, but giving and accepting small gifts makes the system more efficient. But giving and accepting small gifts make the system more efficient. While one may not involve oneself in large unethical practices, but giving and accepting small gifts make the system more efficient. Right? ठीक है, अब देखो, ठीक है, giving and accepting gifts might seem to make system more efficient as it helps in motivation of workforce. It acts as incentive to work. Right? Motivation भी provide करती है, incentive to. However, it is also a form of corruption. Right? By gifts accept करना, that is also a form of corruption, because giving and accepting even a small gifts develop a sense of indebtedness and desire to pay back. A sense of indebtedness and a desire to pay back. So this cycle continues and give and take amplifies in magnitude and extent. My small gift है, पहले एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, ठीक है, वो साइकिल कंटिन्यू होती रहती है। अब एक स्मॉल गिफ्ट दिया, आप यू आर indebted to take decisions, indebted to pay back, right? So this creates a cycle, payback. This cycle continues and give and take amplifies in magnitude and extent, right? ये बढ़ता जाएगा, फिर वो बड़ा गिफ्ट हो जाएंगे, फिर वो करप्शन ही है, right? Then corruption is addictive and has demonstrative effect, domino effect and bandwagon effect. एक बार लिया, गिफ्ट भी लिया, ठीक है, domino effect, right? It is addictive in nature. It encourages others to indulge in corruption and one loses one's authority to stop the act of corruption. एक बार शुरू किया तो बंदी नहीं होगा. Then even small corruption destroys integrity and work culture. One must never forget that integrity is non-selective and non-negotiable, right? Integrity is non-selective and non-negotiable, right? So it is advisable for civil servants to maintain high standards of ethics in public service, which will ensure he or she lives life with content, self-respect and pride. It avoids situations of crisis of conscience, moral dissonance and guilt. See again, look. So overall, ठीक है, by small gifts है वो accept नहीं करना चाहिए because of these reasons. Then it is advisable for civil servants to maintain highest standards of ethics in public service, which will ensure he or she lives life with content, self-respect and pride. It avoids situations of crisis of conscience, moral dissonance and guilt. Right? So इसीलिए ethics follow करना जरूरी है. This is our conclusion part. Right? So we have discussed merits and demerits in a paragraph point format, ठीक है, but सारे discuss करना है, merits and demerits, ठीक है, we need to substantiate, right? So this is the second case study. Then let's see, this is question asked in 2014, ठीक है, 2014. अब देखो ये case study same है, right? Suppose one of your close friends who is also aspiring civil services come to you for discussing some of the issues related to ethical conduct in public service. He raises the following points. ठीक है, see same case study, see repeat हुआ 2014 में और 2017 में, ठीक है. One of friend, nature is different. See, in present times when unethical environment is quite prevalent, Individual attempts to stick to ethical principles may cause a lot of problems to one's career, right? It may also cause hardship to the family members as well as risk to one's life. Why should we not be pragmatic and follow the path of least resistance and happy with whatever we have? See, this is similar to the first question in last case study. So you can write answer to this question. Then when so many people are adopting wrong means and are grossly harming the system, what difference would it make? Only a small minority tries to be ethical. They are going to be rather ineffective and are bound to get frustrated, right? Then if we become fussy about ethical consideration, will it not hamper the economic progress of our country? After all, in the present age of high competition, we cannot afford to be left behind in the race of development. Again, similar to the third question, development versus economic progress versus ethics. Then it is understandable that we should not get involved in grossly unethical practices, but giving and accepting small gratifications and doing small favors increases everybody's motivation. It also makes the system more efficient. What is wrong in adopting such practices, right? So critically analyze the above viewpoint. On the basis of analysis, what will be your advice to your friend, right? Again, same case study, right? That's why I'm not discussing it and I haven't provided model answer also for this question because it is similar to the last case, right? So now let's discuss next case study that is asked in 2016. 2016, ठीक है? So the case C, first case study में first go through the questions. So questions is in such a situation you are left with following options. Analyze each option with its consequences, right? Each option with its consequences, right? So options are given. So three options are given. We need to analyze and its consequences of each of the option, right? So let's discuss the case. So case is you are a young. So you is a stakeholder. You are a young, aspiring and sincere employee in a government office working as an assistant to the director of your department. So director of department is second stakeholder. I have rounded it, right? Department. Since you have joined recently, you need to learn and progress. Luckily, your superior, that is director, is very kind and ready to train you with your job. He is very intelligent, ठीक है, well informed person having knowledge of various departments. In short, you respect your boss and are looking forward to learning a lot from him. ठीक है, since you have good tuning with the boss, he started depending on you. One day, due to ill health, he invited you at his place for finishing some urgent work, right? You reached his house and before you could ring the bell, you heard shouting noises. You waited for a while. After entering the house, the boss greeted you and explained the work, but you were constantly disturbed by the crying of a woman. At last, you inquired with the boss, but his answer did not satisfy you. Next day, you were compelled to inquire further the office and found out that his behavior is very bad at home with his wife. So his wife is the stakeholder. He also beats up his wife. His wife is not well educated and beats up his wife is again domestic violence. That is illegal, right? Illegal. So simple woman compared to her husband, you see that though your boss is a nice person in office, he is engaged in domestic violence at home. So in that situation, you are left with following options. Analyze each of the option with its consequences, right? So again, introduction will be in 2 to 3 lines. Just discuss. See, in this case, there is lack of integrity in the superior as his attitude and behavior in public life and private life is different, right? Or you can write introduction as this is a typical case of well-educated people and well-behaved in public sphere, but violating laws and using unethical practices in domestic sphere, right? That can be another introduction, right? Okay, so introduction, 3-4 lines introduction. The core crux of the case study you need to explain, right? Crux का इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि ये केस में क्या हुआ. Crux is the conflict, the issue, right? Here it is a situation where person is educated, he is well behaved in the office, but in domestic sphere he is violating law, he is beating up his wife, domestic violence, which is illegal, right? So that is introduction. Then following are the options given, analyze situation, you are left with following options, analyze each option and its consequences. Options given, so you need to analyze. So first option is just ignore thinking about it because it is their personal matter. Okay, so just ignore thinking about it because it is their personal matter. ठीक है भाई, पर्सनल मैटर है तो कुछ मत करो. ठीक है, सो हियर अगेन आई एम नॉट राइटिंग मेरिट्स डीमेरिट्स इन बॉक्स फॉर्म, राइट? मेरिट्स डीमेरिट्स बॉक्स फॉर्म में नहीं लिख रहा है, राइट? ठीक है, अब मेरिट्स डीमेरिट्स कैसे लिख रहा है? ठीक है, अब देखो. ठीक है, जस्ट इग्नोर थिंकिंग about it is because of their personal matter. So merits in this is ignoring the matter will avoid putting my boss in an embarrassing situation in front of me and others, right? So इसका merit है, इस statement का merit, that is ignoring the matter by avoids putting my boss in an embarrassing situation in front of me and others, right? So it will also not affect my relationship with him, and not create any hurdle for me at the workplace, right? At workplace also your relations will be fine if you follow, then workplace में भी कोई hurdle नहीं होगा. So it will help maintain the prevailing work culture. See again, look at the words I am using. ठीक है, work culture is a syllabus topic in section A, right? So it will help maintain the prevailing good work culture at the office, because we have seen office में अभी चीजें अच्छा है, right? Because your officer is respected, right? He knows how to work, so prevailing good work culture ensure करेगी. ठीक है, and demerits are however by ignoring the issue I will be indirectly giving tacit approval to the domestic violence. So by just ignore the thinking about it is a personal matter, by it a personal matter नहीं है, by ignoring it I am giving tacit approval to domestic violence which is crime by law, right? Then I will be held guilty in my own court of conscience. Again conscience syllabus का word, right? So अगर चुप रहा तो I will feel guilty, right? खुद बुरा फील करूंगा यार, कुछ मिस्टेक हो रहा है, like if something illegal is happening but I am not able to raise my voice, so that is against your conscience. Then a sense of guilt may arise in me leading to inner dissonance and crisis of conscience. Again crisis of conscience is a syllabus, right? Then I will also lose my integrity and I will not act as per values of empathy and compassion. By empathy compassion कहाँ है? One woman is beaten up by her husband, where is my value of compassion and empathy towards her? Then my value of courage will be compromised. My value of courage will be compromised because I'm not showing courage, I'm just keeping quiet because I need to maintain good relations with my boss, I need to maintain good relations in my workspace. So इसीलिए, so my value of courage will be compromised. The incident will also create a bad precedent for society in general and women in particular, right? Women in particular अगर एक्शन लिया तो मान ले वो अरेस्ट हो गया, ठीक है, उसको देख के बहुत लोग डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस बंद करेंगे, right? So then see these are merits and demerits of this case, right? This option, right? Then second option is report the case to appropriate authority. ठीक है, second option is this one, report the case to appropriate authority, right? So see report merits, authorities are well equipped to carry out investigation, that is police को मान ले mention किया, to carry out investigation into the matter. They may also provide legal support to the victim for future course of action. Legal support to the victim, that is wife को legal support भी provide करेंगे, ठीक है. Then by reporting to appropriate authority I will uphold my values of courage, empathy and compassion, right? So मेरा crisis of conscience कुछ नहीं होगा, right? However complaints against him will publicize the matter publicize the matter, ये demerit है, leading to great embarrassment and also degradation of relations between me and my boss. Right? So this option also does not take into consideration whether my boss wife is ready to take the matter to public scrutiny or not. ठीक है, ये भाई वाइफ है, वो क्या करना चाहती है, ठीक है, वो कंप्लेंट देना चाहती है, नहीं है, तो उनका भी कंसिडरेशन नहीं लिया जाएगा. सो दीज आर डीमेरिट्स. ठीक है, देन third option is your own innovative approach towards the situation. Your own innovative approach towards the situation. So you need to your own innovative approach towards the situation. That is, see, lasting effects can come when change from within is brought. Change from within is brought in my boss while maintaining his dignity. ठीक है, so this will ensure a healthy and sustainable relation between him and his wife. ठीक है, बॉस में लॉन्ग लास्टिंग चेंज लाना है. ठीक है, वो कैसे ला सकते? टू एंश्योर दिस आई विल हैव प्राइवेट कन्वर्सेशन विद द बॉस टू एक्सप्रेस कंसर्न्स एंड रिकमेंड काउंसलिंग. ठीक है, रिकमेंड काउंसलिंग और थेरेपी. राइट, आई विल ट्राई टू परसुएड हिम अबाउट इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ एंगर मैनेजमेंट, डिस्कस विद हिम द एडवर्स इंपैक्ट ऑफ डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस ऑन मेंटल वेलबीइंग ऑफ अदर फैमिली मेंबर्स. अगर बच्चे वगैरह हो तो वो समझ लेगा. राइट, and he avoids domestic violence. Right, I will invite him to my own home with his wife and show how well I treat my wife. ठीक है, this may move his conscience as he is a good person at workplace. भाई वो भी समझदार आदमी है, वो भी अच्छा इंसान है. हो सकता है कि भाई एट द एंगर मैनेजमेंट या कुछ चीज आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल गए तो वो डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस कर रहा है. ठीक है, बट वी कैन ट्राई दिस. वो उसको कॉन्साइंस को करे तो he can change his behavior. I will try to find some good qualities and strengths in my boss wife which will make my boss more appreciative of her. Right? Okay. So here my goal will be in bringing about behavioral and attitudinal change. Initially I will be resort to persuasive technique. I will seek legal route only when persuasive technique fail. भाई अब persuasion से वो मान नहीं रहा है but still domestic violence continue कर रहा है, then you will reach the relevant authority and you will complain to the police and you will seek legal course of action. Right? So like this you need to approach. See, again, look at the arguments we are giving, look at the terms, counseling, persuade करना. ठीक है, right, then bringing, using persuasive technique, conscience, right, all these things will fetch you good marks. Right? So this is the third case we are discussing in the essay. Right? Then I will give you one homework case. That is, see this case. See, some of the options to handle the situation could be as follows. Give your explanation to the commission and go soft on disciplinary action. Ignore the commission and disciplinary action briefly. Higher ups, suggest any other possible option, evaluate all of them and suggest the best course of action giving your reasons for it. Right? See, look at this case study. Just read this. See, again, case study 2014 में पूछा. So case study में first what you need to do. So you have read case. So options given, you need to write merits and demerits. Right? So now read the case. So you are a nonsense honest officer. You have been transferred to remote district to head a department that is notorious for its inefficiency and callousness. Right? So work culture poor hai. Right? Again, see, whenever you are reading a case, read it with key words of syllabus. ठीक है, जैसे department that is notorious for its inefficiency and callousness, that is poor work culture. ठीक है, so topic में क्या है? Work culture. So work culture of the organization, poor work culture. ठीक है, you find that the main cause of poor state of affairs is the indiscipline in the section of employees. Indiscipline in a section of employees. They do not work themselves and they disrupt the working of others. Again, poor work culture. You first warned the troublemakers to mend their ways or else face disciplinary action. Okay, when the warning had little effect, that means there is no respect for hierarchy. Right? You issued a show-cause notice to the ringleader as a retaliatory measure. These troublemakers instigated a women employee amongst them to file a complaint of sexual harassment against you with the Women's Commission. So Women's Commission is another stakeholder, women employee is another stakeholder. The commission promptly seeks your explanation. The matter is also publicized in the media to embarrass you further. Right? So some of the options to handle the situation could be as follows. Give your explanation to the commission and go soft on the disciplinary action. Ignore the commission and proceed firmly with the disciplinary action. Brief your higher ups, seek directions from them and act accordingly. Okay, suggest any other possible option, evaluate all of them and suggest the best course of action, giving your reasons for it. See, again, best course of action is step by step. Step by step. That is from first step to last step. First step में क्या लोगे, second step क्या लोगे, third step क्या लोगे, fourth step क्या लोगे, so on. You will be discussing. Right. So this you write it as a homework. Right. Okay. So in next class we will deal with next type of case studies. See, this is only options not given. See, this would be case study. Identify different options available to Sunil. Okay, in the attendee situation and critically avail. So options not given. How we can think or generate options. Which type of case studies we will be discussing in the next class. So that's it for today's class. See you in the next class. Bye.